someone read the learning goals?
Number 1, students will evaluate evidence to be used as supporting details. Number 2, students will cite evidence in an essay.
Alright, let's start our class with bell work. So last week we talked about the parts of an effective paragraph. You're going to double underline the topic sentence, underline and number the 3 good pieces of evidence, and cross out 1 bad piece of evidence. Awesome. Find the 1 sentence in here that you would not include in your paragraph about why dolphins are good learners. Thanks, Jim. Now, who remembers what a persuasive essay is?
Persuasive essay is something you write to get people to agree with you.
Today we're going to be writing persuasive essays about can monkeys learn or use language? So when we read the articles, we need to go through and say, what question are the articles asking us? So today the articles are asking us the big question that I've written on the board. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about going through your sources and finding good evidence. So good evidence in an essay is fact-based, supports your argument, and is either qualitative or quantitative. So now what we're going to do, everybody get your hand out and get the blue pens that I gave you, and what you're going to do is go through and underline all the evidence that says, yes, monkeys can learn and use language. You're going to underline it and put a plus next to it. Then you're going to underline all the evidence that says, no, monkeys can't learn or use language, and you're going to put a minus sign next to it. So let's go ahead and share as a class some of the evidence that you guys found in the documents that you were given. Samantha.
In the second article, I found a sentence that said, over the course of many years, learned signs or symbols representing hundreds of words.
Awesome. So let's put another mark on the board. So now we've got 3 pieces of evidence, strong, valid, and supportive pieces of evidence that say, yeah, monkeys can learn and use language. Let's go back through the articles with a different mindset and try and find evidence that says, no, monkeys can't use or learn language. Well, the second paragraph starts out by saying, but does any of this constitute the ability to use language? Many linguists, zoologists, and other scientists say no. Samantha.
Around line 39, it says, they lack one or more of the many attributes that make up human language.
That's fantastic. I underlined that same evidence in my article, actually, but I also underlined the sentence before it that says, all the same, those communication methods are not the same as language. Let's find one more, and then we're going to do an academic cheer. Samantha.
The paragraph that begins at the very end of the first page of the article, where it says, one famous linguist compares the animals that participate in human language studies to Olympic athletes. In other words, just because you can train a gymnast to fly through the air, that does not mean humans can fly. Likewise, the chimps in these studies aren't really using language, and the studies don't tell us anything about actual animal communication.
There you go, another strong, definitive piece of evidence that agrees with this position. So now that we've found 5 pieces of evidence for each side, what you're going to do next class is go back and evaluate these evidences that you've underlined, and then we're going to work on writing thesis statements. Everybody did a great job today. You guys found awesome pieces of evidence. Before we go, I just want to do an academic cheer to help us go over one last concept that we'll cover a little bit more in tomorrow's class. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is how to incorporate evidence into your paragraph. So how to actually write the evidence into a sentence that sounds good, looks good, and reads well. So the only thing you need to remember when talking about how to write evidence into a paper is the word ICE. Introduce, cite, and explain. So the first thing you need to do is introduce your quotation by saying a signal phrase like the article tells us or an expert says. Next you need to cite your quotation, which means using the quotation marks around what you're taking from the article, putting in your paper, and then correctly citing it. And the last thing you need to do is add your own spin to it and explain the quotation. Why does the thing that you quoted matter to your argument? What does it help? What does it bring? So in order to remember this acronym ICE, we're going to sing it to the tune of everybody's favorite song, Ice, Ice, Baby. So when I say Ice, Ice, Baby, you guys are going to reply, introduce, cite, and explain it. Ice, Ice, Baby. Introduce, cite, and explain it. Ice, Ice, Baby.
Introduce, cite, and explain it.
Awesome, guys. Great job today. Thanks for coming in, and I will see you tomorrow. We're going to work on writing thesis statements.